One of the greatest forms of mind control that's been in operation for well over several decades, and it's been increasing dramatically in the last several years as we approach 2012, has been some of the information, quite a bit of the information, coming from the mainstream New Age movement, which I believe has been highly influenced by demonic forces that have disguised themselves as angels. And in a lot of cases, these demonic fallen angels are attracted to the consciousness, the minds, the very bodies of women living on earth and manipulating the minds of women into a distorted understanding of what's going on and how do we get out of this mess that we're in. Because a lot of women are naturally intuitive and have a connection to the stars and the spirit. And it's also because of that very reason that they can also be easily manipulated and tempted by handsome spirits into, well, things that are far beyond probably what I can come up with or describe with English words. But at the very least, a manipulated worldview, universal understanding of truly what is karma, why are we here on the planet, and what are the circumstances that we're in. And I'm not alone. There is a massive awakening taking place on the planet as to how the Archons, the reptilians, however you might understand them or describe them. Many of the Christians insist that they only be called demons, but yet the description of the demon and even the work of Lucifer is something that is of deception, something that shapeshifts its form, alters its form, in order to deceive and tempt mankind and womankind. And there's been a lot of deception that I've seen over the years, a lot of completely distorted information, completely bogus information that people have been presenting that have been claiming that this is the ascension path. First and foremost of the lie, to call out to other entities, other spirits. Some spirits are commonly called out to by the people of the earth, or the women of the earth. Archangel Michael or Archangel Gabriel. Ashtar Command. There are many, many others. These are some of the ones that we are more familiar with. I've heard channeled information from the so-called Saint Gabriel in the past. I was a temporary member of the Aquarian Foundation, kind of a fringe New Age group. And in these so-called channel tapes they would play from a so-called Master Kamara, who was well known in Seattle in the 1970s for supposedly manifesting crystals out of his mouth, of course, all done with drapes around him for some reason, not out in the open, but literally like in some sort of a box. Like obviously a magician's trick. In these so-called channeled messages, asking the followers to pray for the United Nations. And the United Nations, as most of you know, is very much a part of this control grid structure. And human trafficking and spreading diseases. China's one-child policy. A lot of dark things have come out of the United Nations. So why would a so-called ascended being be trying to direct the powerful thoughts of the followers towards giving energy to the United Nations? And that was one flag that was raised in my mind over many, more than I can even possibly mention in this very short 15-minute video. But there was also a lot of messages that came through in the 80s and 90s about a shift taking place, Earth changes then. A lot of it's just been recycled information about weather changes. And parallel rapture theories about the body actually, us moving beyond the body itself, perhaps being taken up on spacecrafts so we can watch the others that were left behind. You see massive parallels between the book of Revelation's aspect of it, the ways it's been interpreted, the rapture theory, and the New Age ascension. The good aliens are here to help us, not rape us, not eat us, not take our resources or our gold, or manipulate us into war by controlling our world leaders that are in fact possessed. No, no, no. You don't see that. You don't see those warnings. This is the next very important point in the supposed channeled information. There is a Buddhist teaching to seek to see things as they are, not as you want them to be. And there are certain meditations, vipassana or vipassana, there's different ways to enunciate it, vipassana meditation. I did 10 days of that in 2002. It's 10 days of just sitting and observing your breath naturally as it is, and observing your body sensation and being neutral to it, but going deep into your awareness of all that's happening within your body. And it takes a certain state of mind like that, or to seek to be in that state of mind, to see reality as it is. And we live in a world where people are attached to certain outcomes. And the Messiah complex, or the idea of being saved by aliens, it has been something that a lot of people have been hoping to see for most of their lifetimes. Especially a lot of people in their 40s and 50s that got in the New Age movement decades ago, and they've been hearing these distorted messages, which likely may have been coming, some of them, from the demonic realm, to do a number of things. First and foremost is to convince the followers listening to these messages that they don't have to do anything, that it's going to be done for them, that they're going to be saved, that this isn't about them becoming angels or becoming the true helpers of humanity by calling out the dark forces, but seeking something to save them or even remove them from the planet to a place of safety, simply based on a faith, simply based in a belief that this piece of information that's been so-called channeled is the truth. And the other effect that it's had is for some people in the mainstream New Age community is to call some of us that in our spirits are fighting for the future of humanity to call us negative. Because their information says the beings have been removed from the planet, because their information says that by this particular point in time, we would be a conscious society, and there are people that actually say that we are now that conscious society. Despite the rapes, despite the killings, and the plans for all this, I just get into it, but I don't even want to. You know that we're getting closer and closer to things that would take hours and hours to talk about, and it's already been done. We've already talked about these things. So it's just discounting the physical realm, discounting the other effect of this fake channel information to give a distorted understanding of what is karma. You know, within the channel information, there is a belief in reincarnation and karma. It's a common theme here. And so it's a half-truth. But if you're so unconscious, if you're so numbed out, or one could say traumatized by the things you've experienced in this world to where you can't even look at the evils of the world anymore because it hurts you too much, then you have not ascended to what you could be or what you're meant to be, because you have not succeeded in developing the powers of the mind to remove your own power, your own ability to remove that pain from the body, to see reality as it is, to flush that stuff out through your grounding cord, to bring in the light and true knowledge. Flush out the stuff that's negative, that's bothering you, that's attaching stuff to your aura, but keep seeking the light. To not be intimidated and told, no, that's negative. To just be aware of it will create it. See, that's a half-truth. There are aspects of the law of attraction that are very, very real. But to look at the law of attraction, if you're labeling something negative when someone's highlighting an injustice taking place, then you yourself are making that negative by having a negative perspective of it. Oh, it's negative, you're talking about this. It's negative, you're bringing awareness to it. Well, through the law of attraction, you're making it negative. You can look at things neutrally without responding to them emotionally or with fear. You can go beyond that, but that's on you. That's not on the Space Brothers or the Space Sisters. That's on you to ascend to a level of emotional maturity and to bring in aspects of your soul that in your lifetime may have been traumatized or shattered by events, relationships, perhaps failures at attempted careers. You have to pull back your spirit and your soul essence and heal the cracks where there's been cracks. And if your heart is broken, then it's time to heal your heart. But there has been a lot of trauma inflicted on women over the course of history. And I can see the effect that it has in modern society. The lack of women speaking out against the injustices taking place against other women, usually at the hands of this military. The wars. I mean, those are babies. Those came from women. Those aren't just Those aren't just victims of chance. Oh, they were bad souls before they got here. They created their own karma. Making excuses for being silent about the things that we should be talking about is not what a ascended master would do. Ascended master wouldn't be afraid of demonic realms or retaliation on the astral plane. And I know in my body that countless women on a subconscious level have been threatened in the spiritual realm or attacked in their dreams on some level. If they're in a space where they're connecting with someone or an idea or a certain aspect of yeah, how do I even put this into words? The truth. Their truth. You know, when they identify a path towards their own true independence and liberation from the dark forces, they come in to frighten them into the box and into relationships that are ultimately destructive for them, and away from relationships that are ultimately productive for them. I see this in the world working now. I can see the Archonic system channeling itself through the vessels of earth women and earth men, but earth women in particular are what the dark ETs, for them to maintain their power, they have to have control over the minds of as many women as possible to be able to manipulate the direction that they take in their lives, to be able to manipulate their spiritual essence, to be able to frighten their soul into not looking into certain catacombs or truths, to manipulate them to believing that if they were to know someone or be connected with someone that was on the path of truth, that something would happen to them. Because there's something that has been programmed into them that may be biological over time, dealing with the fallen gods. There's lots of stories of beings from other realms taking earth women as their captives. But there is just this fixation that I see the Archonic forces, that I could see how if they were to lose control of the female consciousness on the earth, they would lose control of the earth itself. And so the responsibility does lie, as it lies in the minds of men, women as well, to clarify their understanding. Because the ETs can create negative vibes or bubbles of vibes around human beings and create a distorted understanding of where it's coming from. You know, we're talking about the realm of attacks in the dreams. We're talking about the realm of memories being erased. You know, there are some very wicked things taking place to women on this earth that people are waking up to, but it's beyond something that one can prove. It is something that we are feeling in spirit. And so I will conclude with saying that there may be some channel information out there that's accurate, because I believe that most of us have the ability to be intuitive, but we're at different levels of our psychic potential. And there is some channel information that has identified there are dark forces on the earth, and that we need to become more compassionate and evolve through our actions and deeds. And I believe that, when a lot of people are just saying that anyway because that information is already in us. You don't have to look outside of yourself for that. You're really accessing your own information. Stay away from the mainstream channel information that is someone telling you they have the truth, that it's coming from the Galactic Federation of Brotherhood, that we are going to be saved, that we don't have to identify dark forces on our planet. You know, they don't identify how women are assaulted in the dream realm, in the astral realm. They don't even seem to warn us in these channel messages about the distorted messages that may be coming through. So I know this is traumatic for some people to hear, but you may have gone through a lot of mind control, psychic attack, and memory erasal. if you have been addicted to this particular worldview and this information coming through. And I'm sharing this video because I love you, and I believe your soul needs to hear this. Thanks for watching.